morning, everyone. One of my very favorite things to do is to talk about being a deacon. So this is, on a Saturday morning, this is really like a little bit of heaven. So we read earlier about what is the ministry of a deacon, and it is to represent Christ and his church, working as a servant to those in need and to assist bishops and priests in the proclamation of the gospel and the administration of the sacraments. So I think the very best way to do this in the time that we have is to look back on page, if you still have your Book of Common Prayer, page 543, which is the ordination of the deacon, and I'm looking at the examination. So we know that deacons are people who are called to make a vow before God and others to model their life after the service and the teachings of Jesus Christ, particularly to those in need. So as a deacon, I am to study the Holy Scriptures. So I like to think of my work as a deacon as an inward and outward ministry, and it just flows back and forth. Actually, a really good picture that I keep in mind is that of a maypole. Remember long ago, we used to have, dance around the maypole? Well, the center of our lives actually is all baptized people, but I'm thinking now as myself as a deacon, the center of that is my call to be a deacon. It's my relationship with Christ and God. And so all the parts of my life, my family, my work, my church, my life as a deacon, my involvement in my community, are all these different threads that I at times pick up and dance around the maypole. And that is what a deacon does. We have an inward ministry and an outward ministry. So inwardly, I am to study the Holy Scriptures. I am to seek nourishment from them. I am to take, read, mark, digest. I should have a spiritual practice. I need to be in touch with someone to help guide me through my spiritual journey. And I need to be in a community where I get support, encouragement, kind criticism. So those are the inward parts of being a deacon. And then I go outward because I'm going to make Christ and his redemptive love known to the world. Now, this is the tricky part. It is by all. Not just showing up Sunday with my collar and being at the altar. It's what I do all the time, what I say, what I do, the people that I talk to, how I worship. It's a living example of the exuberant, inclusive love of Christ that we are taking out into a world. And we focus, many times deacons are called to work with those who cannot take care of their own daily physical needs, the homeless, the hungry. And we give a voice to the voiceless. But we're also, I like to remind people that we also have a ministry to people who may not economically be disadvantaged, but they are equally lonely and hurting and longing to know that they belong, that they matter. So it's everywhere that we go. And even if deacons are working in a full-time job, and we have, teachers, therapists, social workers, musicians. We have deacons who do everything. They drive trucks, they work in the community, all kinds of jobs. So even when I was teaching and I had been ordained, my community was my faculty and my students. That's where I worked for most of the day. So I made them my community. They needed to know that they were loved, that they mattered. And if there were needs, we could help assist in those needs. So then we go back into the church, because what we do as a deacon is we go out into these communities and we talk, and we have our eyes and ears on the ground. We are listening and watching for ways that we can meet the needs of the world. We take that back into the church because a deacon does not do everything. We are supposed to get you involved in helping us with that. So we bring these needs back into the church. And I like to think of the 3 words that begin with the letter E. We enlist. We will tap you on the shoulder and say, I heard you talking about a need in the community. So I'd like to work with you. Let's get together and see if we can work this out. And we encourage people. I constantly remind people that at 9 o'clock on Monday morning or earlier when that alarm goes off and you're going back to your day job, you are going out as a person who's representing Christ. That's your work. And then we also empower people. You have the ability to speak out. You have the ability to encourage people or call out the wrongs that you see. So a deacon does not do all this. We model it and we encourage people to follow their heart and their leading. But then back in the church again, we are to assist in the worship services and other duties that are given to us. Deacons have a very special relationship with the bishop because we work directly under the bishop. So it's a nice feeling to know that the bishop is there supporting us. The bishop has the whole view of the diocese. They see things that we don't see and know about. And so when we promise to obey them, what we're saying is that we are following their lead in where we can serve in the church. So deacons will get moved around. That can depend on circumstances. I like to think that deacons need to be flexible in how things work out. But we work for the bishop. We can go to the bishop and ask, say, we have this question or this need, or we just need to talk to you. And we get Audrey's full support, which is a gift. So we do have this special work with our bishop. And then the key part is at all times, your life, my life, and my teachings are to show Christ to people. If there is one word aside from the word love that I think deacons give to people, it is the word hope. People need hope. They need to know that they are cared about. When I have a ministry in the prison, not now, of course, and when it opens up again, I'll be happy to go back. But the one thing that people never know, the women have never heard, is that, first of all, they matter. And that secondly, there's hope for them. Just because they're where they are, they're not hopeless. They're not lost. And I think that especially as deacons, we carry this light and we also carry this hope with us. So Mary, I don't know, will there be time for questions later? Or, let me say that if you are interested in the diaconate or you feel that inner pull like a magnet to this kind of work, please, I have a whole crew of phenomenal deacons that I can get you in touch with. You can talk to me. You can check the website for, the process to becoming a deacon. But if you have questions, please, Michael's here today. He's also a deacon. We would love to chat with you about the call, about what we do in more detail, about the process. But deacons, it's a life of service. It's a life of giving love and hope to the people out there who don't have it.